segment brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Timothy Venverloh, Vice President of Sustainability Strategy with the United Soybean Board, joins us. Tim, a new study commissioned by the United Soybean Board revealed the lack of access to broadband in rural areas and how big of a toll it takes on American farmers and the economy.
Over 60% of the U.S. farmers do not have adequate connectivity, and ag represents about $133 billion to the U.S. GDP. When these farmers do not have access to the kind of technology that helps improve their performance, it is not only impacting our food supply, but also our GDP.
What were some of the other significant findings that you found in the study?
The study found that 78% do not have another viable internet provider option, so that goes right to cost and performance. 60% are trying to work with very slow speeds, and only 32% consider that their office connection is reliable. And it's impacting newer technologies out there, devices and machinery that generate data, that talk between the devices, that finally transmit that data to the home office and even out into the internet.
Tim, did the survey indicate anything in particular that affected Kansas farmers?
There were a few quotes from Kansas farmers that I found interesting. They indicated they feared no or low connectivity would leave them behind as ag innovations increasingly include the internet and high-speed broadband.
What does broadband and internet access have to do with sustainability?
If we expect that our farmers produce more safe, reliable, sustainably grown food for our consumption, and we expect them to be a part of the climate solution by putting carbon back into the soil where it's healthy for the soil and healthy for our crops instead of in the air, then we have to give them the technology that allows them to make those kind of decisions and allows their equipment to participate in that high-speed exchange of information and data.
Tim, how do you summarize this study as a whole?
Basically, what we're talking about in this issue is an infrastructure problem or issue. These are highways. These are data highways. And farmers need access to these data highways and data roads. And they also want to create data, use data, and share data that helps and supports a very safe and reliable production of sustainably sourced soybeans in the case of the United Soybean Board. Again, produced not only for domestic purposes, but for food purposes all over the world.
That was Timothy Venverloh, Vice President of Sustainability Strategy with the United Soybean Board, who joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Coming up, Dwayne Taves talks with David Pugh, owner of Southern Tracks Veterinary Services, about how to recognize and treat cattle parasites across the state.